Welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where spirit meets real life and intuition leads the way. Every episode, your hosts, Dr. Vicki Haspels and Keryn Rose, dive into the energy of what's shifting in the cosmos, in the collective and within ourselves. That's been my voice for a while.
Hello, Keryn, and welcome
Heidi,
to another
hi,
week.
young girl. How you doing?
Well, thank you. And how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And I promise I'm not going to talk about the weather. I'm doing very well.
Well, welcome
Very
to
well.
another edition of Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where we like to bring everyday life and the Salt, Sage and Stardust perspective on that, our little discussion. So today, Keryn, what are we talking about?
Well, today we're leaning into, for me, one of the most powerful yet quiet forces that we have in our world. And this is kindness.
Yeah.
And I love this, and I know that I've introduced you to a book about the side effects of kindness. It's kind of like there's no downside. It's more than this fleeting gesture or polite word. You know, it actually changes our chemistry. It softens our edges and it strengthens our heart. And it truly does ripple through the world. When I think of the word ripple, kindness is one of those things that, as I said, there is no downside to Oh, actually, thank you. I've just been shown, yes, I can kill my houseplants with too much kindness because I give them too much water. But that aside, from the world's perspective, you know, there just is no downside. And this is going to be wonderful to look at through our three pillars of salt, sage, and stardust.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just jump in and take it away, Miss Vicki. Share some thoughts with our gorgeous listeners.
I'd like to, I think I'd like to start with, I've always, ever since I was a little girl, I've always valued kindness, and I didn't realise it until I was a bit older, because one of my favourite songs when I was a little girl was, I think it was, I can't remember that, I think it might have been a Glen Campbell, like a country song, but it's like Try a Little Kindness. And I used to sing that. I used to sing that at concerts. If I had a choice of a song, I played it constantly. And it wasn't until maybe about 10 years ago that I remembered that song. And I found it, of course, on the streaming services. And it brought back all of those memories of what it felt like to channel that song and that music. And as a little girl, I think there were many times where kindness was not shown to me. However, how did I know that kindness was a thing as a little girl? And that's because I understood there were many acts of unkindness, but when the acts of kindness came in, I felt like a human being. I felt like I mattered, and it really made a difference to how I saw the world and my state of being. And I always tried to be kind. I didn't always succeed. However, kindness, when it came to doing things, kindness overrode everything when I saw somebody or something in trouble. And so for me, the act of kindness is an act of love that doesn't always have to be selfless, but it helped me feel connected to who I am. It connected me to something deep within me. And so with our pillars, our salt, sage and stardust pillars, I would like to ask you, Keryn, let's start. What do you consider the salt in our everyday life, in our practical everyday life? how do you see kindness playing out in our world, or for you?
For me, kindness is full of magic. It I was going to say it tells me, maybe it reminds me, maybe the word remind is a better word, that I am connected. When there's some kindness and I get that warm feeling, that warm rush within me, I am connecting to the magic of what has happened. It might be as simple as a barista first thing in the morning saying, "Hi, Keryn, lovely to see you." I think, wow, someone's seen me. And I mean, it can sound little, but and I'm not alone when I say I live with myself, and most of my work still is done remotely. So I can easily go a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week without seeing anybody. And it's not healthy. And I'm conscious of that. So I make it part of my morning routine. And when the coffee is delivered, I say thank you very much with a smile to the gorgeous girl that's brought it. And then as I leave, I say stunning cup of coffee, thank you. Because at the moment they're on a roll and they are stunning. But it's that knowing that I'm connected. And the visual for me is like that invisible web that connects everybody to everybody
Mm-hmm.
else
Yeah,
lights up. And it's like all the little dewdrops suddenly catch the sunlight. And yeah, and there's no size. It's like a hug.
yeah,
One size fits all. An
yeah.
act of kindness, one size fits all.
It's you can for the as you're talking, I'm thinking about my acts of kindness in my day-to-day life
Mm-hmm.
when it happens. I sometimes it's done automatically and I don't think about it, and sometimes it's deliberate. But what I do realize or remember is that when the other person recognizes that act of kindness, whether it's unconscious or conscious, I see something reflected back in me. I think, oh, and I get this rush inside of my own body, this feeling of lightness, of I don't know. It lifts me. It makes me feel better, and it brings a certain amount of joy into my being, and that lifts me for sometimes for the rest of the day, just to have
See,
that
that's that
happen.
recognition.
Yeah.
That's that connection.
Yes. The
You've done
connection. Yeah.
something, it's been recognized, and you go,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And we can't, the fact that you're alive, the person that you are showing this kindness to is alive,
Yeah.
everything is energy. You've hit the nail on the head and it's resonating. And I
Yes.
just got
Yeah.
to go, wow,
Yeah.
there it is.
And your physical body responds to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And all of those good chemicals, as you mentioned, the 5 side effects of kindness. One
Hmm.
of those things is the physical side effect is all of those good hormones release into the body, and
Yeah.
that's good for the self, good for the physical
Ah,
self.
and it's I don't want to call it a byproduct, but if something nice happens to me, like my gorgeous cup of coffee comes, and I look up and I smile and I say thank you. So many people don't look in the eye when it's being delivered because they're busy reading the paper. So I'll look up and I'll say thank you and I'll smile and they'll smile back. And I go,
Yeah,
cool. It was received, it was accepted, and I felt it because I hit the
yeah,
ball over the net and they picked it up and they hit it back.
yeah.
It's yeah. What look, when you talked about that book, The 5 Side Effects of Kindness, it's a
Mm.
book written by David R.
Hamilton.
Hamilton, PhD,
Mm.
who was a researcher in the pharmaceutical industry before he saw the light, shall we say. Um, and what I love about this particular book is that all of the comments that he's making in the writings are so heavily supported by scientific studies.
Yes. Yeah.
It's we can say that kindness makes us happier, but there are studies that show that
Yeah.
kindness makes us happier.
Yeah.
So it's a great read for anybody that's listening. The
Highly
Five Side
recommend it.
Effects of Kindness.
Yeah.
Both Vicky and I have got it on audio, and I've got it on Kindle as well. And David Hamilton has written many books,
Yeah.
and it's simply from a scientist's perspective, talking woo woo, as he initially called it. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating to
Yeah.
read. So, yeah, that salt perspective of kindness for me is reinforcing, it's having us remember connection to the world that we live in. And for me, when I
Yeah.
connect, I'm anchoring into the
Yeah.
world I live in.
Yeah.
And that for me is the salt.
I wanted to ask just one more observation from you, Keryn, about what it feels like when you realize that somebody has done something unconsciously kind towards you without. How is that for you? Because I'm thinking about how that feels for me, but I'm just interested when somebody is kind towards you and it's unexpected. How do you feel?
It, to be brutally honest, it often catches me unawares.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I will be surprised. That's the word I'm looking for. I will be
Yeah.
surprised. Excuse me. And then I, in my head, going, Keryn, why are you surprised? Are you not worthy of somebody doing something kind? But yes, I mean, my most recent incident was last night. I had the joy of looking after my grandies, and my daughter and her husband had bought me a bottle of red wine to say thank you. And I was stunned. Um, why? I I'm being Nana and I'm looking after the kids. And
Yeah.
they were showing their gratitude. And
Yeah.
they had spent some money to show their gratitude. And it really, the more I allowed myself to receive what they were giving me, the bigger it became
Yeah.
and the quieter I asked myself to become. Because I can, using my words, almost take away from the celebratory nature that's being
Yeah.
shared with me, and yeah, and I don't feel particularly comfortable in it. I don't. But hey, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn. So how do you
That's
feel?
I was going to say that's a very common reaction, especially when it comes out of the blue like that, and you don't consider what you've done as an act of kindness or as in helping somebody out that way.
Yeah,
And for me, I can remember for many years, I felt really embarrassed if somebody did something kind for me because it's like, oh, what does that mean? Yeah, I was on hyper alert until I realized that accepting that I matter, it made me feel like seen
yep,
and heard.
yep,
And I didn't realize that I didn't give that to myself. And when I saw
yeah,
evidence of it being directed towards me, and when I finally said, oh, thank you, that's very kind, I started to matter to myself. And
yes,
I started to, I'm getting a bit emotional thinking about that actually, but I started to matter to myself. And I
yeah.
didn't realize how much I dismissed who I am until
There you
those
go.
acts of
The
kindness.
flicking of the
Yeah.
hand coming in.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
right. Yeah.
don't mention it. Again, now there's a
Yes.
term that I grew up with. Oh,
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
mention it.
It's okay. Don't worry. But now
All of that.
yes.
Yep.
And now I say, when something kind is done to me, I'll say, oh, that was very kind. Thank you so much. And they'll
Yes.
go, oh, that was nothing. I'll say, no, it
It
really
was
meant
something.
a lot to
Yes.
me. Yeah. Because I felt
Yes.
myself in that moment. I felt seen and I felt, as you mentioned, connected. So, yeah, I just, thanks
Yes.
for that. I really wanted to to
Yeah.
understand how you felt about
It's
that. Yeah.
and again, when I'm thinking, because even though it was quite late this morning when the kids came home, we still got caught in this conversation. And again, I complimented the kids on how they're bringing up the grandchildren to be so aware of what they're feeling, what they're saying, and owning their shit.
Mm.
And it's simply not the world that you and I grew up in.
I know.
When I think about it, I I had to jump through a hell of a lot of hoops to get any type of accolades from my father. My mother, by the time we finish all of these podcasts, you'll know my mother was a beautifully generous and compassionate soul, and she was a lovely buffer. But it's like you had to earn. And
Mm.
kindness, no. For me, the fact that somebody is alive, they deserve respect, compassion, and kindness.
Yeah.
That's my world. So
Yeah.
I hope I live my day to day in that space of respect,
Yeah.
compassion, and kindness. And do you know who's at the front of that row?
Who's that?
Me. Because I deserve
Yes.
respect, compassion, and kindness.
You matter.
There you go. I matter. Yes.
Yes. Very good. So, moving on from that, let's look at that, explore the sage part of kindness, the wisdom, the inner wisdom that we bring to kindness and what we understand that how it expresses in the soul part of who we are. Can you think of anything, Keryn, or tell us an example of how that shows up for you or what that means for you in that context of the sage?
Well, we've kind of touched on that already
Yeah.
in that reflecting on what is going on. So for me, kindness takes us in because the reality is neuroscientific studies have shown
Mm.
that the good hormones are
Yeah.
released when we're
Yeah.
in that space. And it's, yeah, for me, and I'm very new to this babysitting thing,
Yeah.
for me to go and help my children have a life that's outside of parenting, does it cost me? Well, it costs me time, absolutely. And the petrol, I can write all of that up. But when I'm there, I'm being immersed in the love of my grandchildren. And there is no price for that.
Mm.
It's taken me a while to get into this space. So it's just, ah, so is it an act of kindness? Well, I could say no to the kids. I can't babysit tonight because I know it's going to be a late night. I am very precious about the sleep that I get. But I think, no, I'm supporting them, but I get from it as well. And OMG, I can't explain what these three kids and the energy give me.
Yeah.
It's the impact on me, which then settles me and makes me
Yeah.
a nicer person.
Yeah.
It's there's magic. There truly is. The more that I think about it, there is pure magic in an act of kindness because of the potentiality of the impact it has on the entire world.
Yes. Yes. Very
Ah,
much. Yeah. Yeah.
ah, and you've got to be open to it.
Mm-hmm.
It is when I use the word kindness, it is a heart-based action. There really is no headspace involved. The intention is fueled from a and I don't want to say good because it sounds that it could be bad, but it's heart based. I'll keep it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's heart based. And because it's heart based, it is going to impact on everybody in the entire world. Now, do I see that impact? No. Do I care about that impact? Well, it's not why I'm doing it. But I
Yeah.
know that because everything is energy and everything is connected, I know in my knower, I know it's having an impact on the rest of the world in a positive, in a
Yeah,
good way.
yeah, yeah.
And that's the ultimate paying it forward.
I agree. Yeah,
That is the ultimate paying it forward.
yeah, yeah. I like that. The paying it forward.
Ah,
Yeah,
it's a fabulous statement, and for
yeah.
me says so much. But yeah, it brings you into the moment,
Mm-hmm.
being in that
Mm-hmm.
space,
Yes,
because
yes.
I am feeling feels I have not felt for a long time,
Yeah,
and it's just OMG, and it opens me up for more. And then I remember, there's this wonderful podcast that did an episode on boundaries recently. And I suddenly remember, oh, okay, yes, I need to say, right, Nana is one of the hats I wear, but that's what it is. Do I want to just snuggle into the family and be there all the time? Kind of, yeah. I go, whoa, Nelly, back off. I get that high, and I can absolutely just want to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
living in that space. And, oh,
yeah, yeah. So I like that. So what you're saying is that the feeling you want to sort of sink into it and just take it more and more, but you're leveling it out and
oh,
owning your own, like your energy, your partner, their part in it, and those boundaries.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Keep it all flowing nicely because otherwise it might end up being like pulling
Oh,
from one to the other. Is that what you're
and
saying? Yeah. Yeah.
as you're talking, yeah, forgive me for coming back to my cup of coffee in the morning. When I have a stunning cup of coffee first thing in the morning, I want another one. I've enjoyed it so much. I want another one. And I've done it enough times to know, generally speaking, that second one, I feel like bleh, bleh afterwards. But I want to experience that feeling
Mm.
again rather than stay in the feeling that I've already experienced and go, wow, this is fantastic. This is great. I'm going to have this for the rest of the day. I go, oh, I'm going to have another one. I go, no. And, I'm still learning that, oh, that piece of chocolate
Yeah.
was just so good. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to have another one, and then when the block's gone, you're feeling revolting.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's,
I know that feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
that staying in the moment of what you've just
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah.
Can the
Yeah.
fireworks keep going? Well, if the fireworks keep going, it actually takes away from the magic of what you have seen in the
Yeah.
firework display.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have the magic of what I experienced with the kids last night, knowing, well, do I know? I hope there's going to be another opportunity. But for me to stay present and really immerse myself in that, oh, that was just fabulous. That is a brilliant memory.
And what I like about those memories, Karen, is that you can recall the memory and recall the feeling.
Absolutely. And you
Yeah.
literally relive that
You literally relive
relive it
it.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it has that everlasting or ripple effect and
Oh,
cumulative effect in the body.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely, it is a cumulative effect, which is
Yeah.
probably why it's a good thing that I'm not doing it every day, because would I potentially OD on this
Yeah.
unctuousness, awesomeness? Yep,
It
potentiality
can
would be there.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah.
becomes abrasive. Yeah. Yeah. Um, for when I think about sage, the soul experience, and that act of kindness, I'm going to draw on a recent experience that I had where I shared a space for about 3 months with a friend of mine, not full time, but we shared a house. And we had never shared a space before, but this was like a mutually beneficial for both of us. We were we're house sitting for somebody. And so we just, it was offered to both of us and we both said yes. And so we sort of shared the time there, but we also shared time together. And I had never realized or had shared that time with that person. The time that we spent together became closer, and as we got to know each other, but we didn't. I think that it was the level of kindness and respect that we showed each other during that time that really took. It wasn't so much the relationship to another level, although it brought our relationship closer from like where we'd had a close relationship, but this took it to another level. But to be living in that space every day, which I'd never had before, in that sort of a level of kindness, this is like a peer to peer kindness, not, a relationship like as in a lover sort of space, a friendship space. How much my life improved in that time, and how I was able to connect to a part of myself I didn't even know that I missed. I knew it was there. And that it was because, and I guess we're talking about that cumulative effect, is that every day that I walked into that house, even if that person wasn't there, the residual kindness that
Yeah.
stayed there, I was able to relax and I was able to be more myself because this person, and it wasn't about whether they judged me or not, but they approached everything with a level of kindness. Also, they accepted my kindness towards them. And because of that, it became not so much too much kindness or overwhelming of it, but we were able to level it out to a point where the environment of the home, of the house that we're in, became this sanctuary or this haven. And so different new levels of exploring ourselves and who we were and our relationship, and even talking on deeper subjects. You know, we talked a lot of rubbish, as you do, but it was all because it was all accepted and be able to be expressed because the level of kindness was there,
Yeah.
the space given. It changed me.
Yeah.
It changed me in a way that I didn't even now talking about it and reflecting on it, it shifted something inside of me that gave me a different type of courage when I stepped out into the world, because for that time somebody else saw me and
Yep.
reflected that kindness back to me in a way that I understood. And so I got to see myself reflected in that person's eyes. And so I guess on a soul level, that like as you mentioned before, Keryn, there's no words to express the way that that feels when you feel it inside of yourself as it grows and blossoms and flourishes. The You carry that out not only from there, but you carry it out into the world, and you get to share it. It
Yeah.
flows on and flows on.
It
You make
really
somebody else,
does.
yes,
It adds a depth and a richness
richness. That's yes, a
to
richness.
who we are. It's
Yeah,
you and I can talk about the outside being a mirror to us. But in these types of situations, when we're talking about the magic of kindness, these little acts are acting as cosmic mirrors
yes,
that show our capacity for care, our
yes,
capacity for joy, our capacity for that deeper alignment to who we are,
yes,
because we don't know what we don't know.
right. Yeah,
So, because everything is energy and has its own frequency, when a frequency is shared, is emitted, and is picked up by by you, you can't stop your heart resonating with it.
no,
What is for you, what is for me, what is for the listeners, you will feel it.
mm,
You will feel it.
yeah,
And sometimes the feelings, I will confine myself bursting into tears. And I'm thinking, oh, why is that? And it is just such a beautiful feeling. And I go, okay, I'll accept that.
yeah,
It's yeah, that resonance. And I
Yeah,
think this is why I love surrounding myself with the music that I do, because it makes me feel so many things.
yeah, yeah. I love that. Actually, we started at the top of this podcast about music. Music is so important. So
Ah,
important. Sound,
it's
resonance, vibration.
it's energy that we can hear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, when you think of the sand on the metal plates vibrating, yes, that's when we can see it.
Yes.
Excuse me. But yes, music, I don't think that the world would exist if we did not have music.
No, no. And I was like, as you were talking to Keryn, if we don't know, but like we don't know what we don't know, but there is something deep inside of us that recognizes kindness because it's
Absolutely.
innate.
Yes.
And when we see it reflected or the effects of it, as you mentioned, you want to do more,
You want
and
more. Yes.
you
Yeah.
want more. You want to do it more. And so, and why not? It's a real treat to be able to walk this life in that way. And
And
so, and
again,
it's not, yeah,
it doesn't have to be big.
no, and it's
It
not,
could be
no,
the
and it's not hard
smallest
to do either.
things.
That's right.
No,
It's not hard to do.
no.
Yeah,
It's, and, can we be kind to ourselves? Well, I'm still working on that one. As in, it starts with me. It
yeah,
starts with me. And it's what I'm being reminded of being in the company of my grandchildren. My grandson is very sharp, and he will remember things. And being with him asks me to be present, to be gentle, to use a voice that is quiet, and just there's there's that magic that is asking me to show a part of me that's going to resonate with him,
yes, yes,
that is going to come back to me.
yeah,
And I can, and I'm, as I said, kind of new to this babysitting thing. So I'm going through my memory banks going, okay, where is it? Where is it? Because I know it's in there somewhere. Particularly given I know he is a part of my lineage. So there's a part of me in there. And but all of this is happening in the spur of the moment. And once
yeah,
you're in it, you've remembered.
yeah.
And it's,
It
yeah,
is it is an energy. It's a vibration. And what you're
it
talking about,
is.
I can visualize in my mind as you're saying. He'll bring you to the level that's acceptable, and you're saying, yeah, that's where I want to be too. And so
Yeah.
those two, they weave, and then they join and they
Oh,
become one, and it becomes a song that we sing or a dance that we dance that's in
well,
tune.
both.
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
then when you throw the three of them in, it's
yes,
a little, I don't know, probably a trio sonata of sorts. And, we've all got
yeah,
our parts, and it's, it's magic. It
beautiful.
truly,
Yeah,
truly is
yeah,
magic.
yeah.
Um,
So, and it
so
speaks to who we are.
again, yes,
Yeah,
yes, and it is that simple. All
yes,
coming simply from an act of kindness.
yes,
It's, yeah, I choose to do what I can to be in that space.
yeah,
So, from our Stardust perspective, when we talk about changes within ourselves, the Stardust for me takes that change beyond and has me acknowledge that an act of kindness can be a catalyst for real change
yeah,
within us and the rest of the world.
yeah. I think that when it comes to the Stardust perspective, that the I want to I was as I was researching this and looking at talking points for kindness. The thing that sits with me is that social cohesion, which is that it threads the acts of kindness thread us together and
Absolutely.
creates that cohesive community and that cohesive right across the world.
It
energetically.
does. It
It,
absolutely goes right
it
across the
bonds
world.
us. I mean, you only have to look at people, the just lately in the news, like Taylor Swift got engaged. I mean, it was, you can't escape. I'm not a Swiftie, but how it brought together people from all over the world. They were able to celebrate that beautiful news and that cohesiveness that came with it. And
Yeah.
what comes from that cohesiveness is this act of um, seeing yourself in somebody else, and creates that, like, that bind or that bond with other people. And everyone's happy and joyful. Acts of kindness that come out of that. Everyone loves each other because they recognize themselves from that one, just that one thing. And we say, I see you, I see me in you, and I see you in me.
I can remember when my daughter was younger. I can remember the story around the 2000 Olympics when Prince of Norway met Mary. I want to say
Oh,
Donaldson, but the
Denmark.
Australian. Yes, so the
Denmark.
Prince of
Yeah,
Denmark,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
met the Australian girl in a pub,
yeah,
and she's now the Queen of Denmark. And I can remember saying to Em, honey, you too could be a princess one day if you want to. We don't know. We
yeah,
simply don't know. And, Taylor Swift has worked very hard to get where she has. And can anybody do that? Well, given the right situation, Taylor Swift does have talent. Whether it resonates with you or not is irrelevant. She's got something that others enjoy.
yeah.
Um, it's,
It brings people together, much like Mary
look,
and
it
Frederick.
really,
Yeah,
really does.
yeah,
It's, music is one of those things that it's either going to resonate with you or not,
yeah,
because you can't stop it. I am unashamedly a classical music lover, and I'm just not into a lot of the modern music at the moment. It just doesn't fill my heart with joy. It doesn't even hook me.
yeah,
I can go, okay, go and enjoy the concert. But when it resonates with me, fab. And I reckon that all of our listeners would know when something comes on, you feel it and it engages you
yeah,
to either sit,
yeah,
to weep, to get up and dance, to get active. It talks to us,
yeah.
because
It's,
it is that
yeah.
energy.
It's because you might be listening to that piece of music now, and somebody might have heard it 5 years ago, and someone's going to hear it 5 years into the future. But that's the thing that connects all of you. You've created a universe
Oh,
around this one piece of music,
absolutely.
and it's this is the thing that like brings us together, that weaves us together. Like, as you mentioned before we started, about the spider web, how the spider
Yeah.
creates the web. Yeah,
And there is that point, it
yeah,
starts, and then the spider web keep, but it's that idea of connection. And
connection.
that's how I
Mm,
see everybody in the world
mm,
is connected.
yeah,
Whether you know it, whether you even care about it,
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like to think that you do. But the reality is, everything that is alive on this planet at the moment is connected. And
yeah,
that what happens to one part will impact energetically
yeah.
elsewhere. It just
Elsewhere,
will. It,
absolutely.
it just will.
Yeah,
So, for me, the idea of me doing an act of kindness, because in that moment that's my choice, and then I think, oh, okay, yes, it does have a flow on effect, and it impacts on me.
yeah,
For me to say
yeah,
thank you to somebody, I'm not doing it because I'm going to feel better. That is my absolute heart's joy, to go, thank you for
yeah,
this cup of coffee. Thank you so much. And, they've gotten up at 5 in the morning to get to the cafe early to open it up. And, there's effort that's gone
yeah,
through. They're getting paid to do it, but they can moan and groan if it's 2 degrees outside. So, this little thank you, I really appreciate that. You can see the smile on their
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah. And I know that when they go on and they're doing their day, but even in those next following moments, they're in a better space. So
It'll get
whatever
passed
they are
on.
doing
Yes.
is
Yes.
impact on
Yeah.
by that little thing.
Yeah. Now,
It's
I was
and there
going
are
to ask
so
you
many
what.
studies that show that.
Yeah, I was going to say you wanted to talk about the Rosetto study. That.
Ah, just amazing. I can remember. I mean, I love the audiobooks because I can listen to them as I'm walking.
Yeah.
And David Hamilton was sharing this. And Rosetto is a little town in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
And in the early 1950s, America was doing studies on health and well-being, and they wanted to look at the parameters of things like, for example, heart attacks. And it was discovered by somebody because people were going out. It was, a questionnaire thing that they would take, and then there were tests that were done. And it was discovered that this little town in Rosetto went against the standard that was around in the US of A. And they said, oh, this is worthy of looking into, because they had about half the the examples of heart attacks in
Yeah.
this little town. So off they went, and the researchers went and did the study, and they were looking at the diet was rich in fats. People smoked heavily. They enjoyed their drink, but they were just having no heart disease showing at all, and it didn't make scientific sense. So in the 1950s and 60s, they were maintaining this abnormal result from a heart perspective, heart disease. Then the studies showed that in the 70s and 80s, so let's move on a generation. So you've got this little town, and I'm sure that was a little Italian community. They shared the food. What's yours is mine. Everybody, open door policy. It was what I see as a community. Then in the 70s and 80s, the kids have grown up. Off they go. They move out. They're going to school. They're moving away. You imagine the growth in the US of A from the 50s and 60s to the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And what happened was those traditional community bonds started to weaken. And as those bonds weakened, the heart disease rates rose up to match the national averages. And so the scientific community acknowledged the weight of this connection and belonging.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just biology, because they were doing all the things that we're told don't do because it's going to impact negatively on the health of your heart.
Yeah.
The power of connection and belonging within the community
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
key to their well-being.
Yeah.
It's like they were loving life,
Yes. And they're
and the
loving
life
each
they were
other.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the support they had. You and I have used the word connection when we've been
Yeah.
telling our stories.
Yeah.
The social support that this community had in the 50s and 60s absolutely reduced their stress.
Yeah.
There was somebody to talk, there was somebody to share, and that takes a load off the heart space.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, and all of this, is it being done out of kindness? Well, I would have to say yes.
Yes.
Communities back in the day worked because everybody was there for everybody else. I don't think they stopped to think, oh, this is something kind to do. That was the definition of community.
Yes.
I've got
It was
food on the
built in.
table.
Yeah.
Come on over. Come
Yeah.
and
It was
share.
built in. Yeah. Yeah.
It's, and the reality is, as a species, we're programmed for that.
We are. We
We are
thrive in
programmed.
that. We thrive in
We
that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
did you say thrive?
Thrive. Yes,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
thrive.
We
Yeah.
absolutely do thrive. And it was
Yeah.
fascinating that that generational shift from the 70s and 80s, from the 50s and 60s to the
Yeah.
70s and 80s, they've lost that magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I think that from that perspective, when we sorry, there's a phrase I was just trying to recall it. That's the we before me. Even
yes.
though we do put ourselves, we always consider ourselves first, and we'd never put ourselves on the line or detrimental to our well-being. But that we before me,
Yeah.
sense of community, that you've always got somewhere to go to, someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
It's no, even when you're going through your worst times, even if you never call on that support or that help, just knowing that it's there can be the thing that gets you over the edge.
Yep. But
So
see,
when you're surrounded, yeah,
the thing that I love about, and I feel that one of the bits of magic in the Rosetto township was that they were almost a closed community. There was a sense of isolation
yeah,
in
yeah,
from a physical perspective.
yeah,
So suddenly the community, that was the little town, and you didn't
yeah,
need anybody else because everyone was
no,
there. When I
mm,
think of all the gorgeous little country towns that were thriving when I was growing up, you always had a main town that you would go to. It might be 2 hours drive, but in the little country town, you had the pub, you had the social centre, the sports centre. Typically, you had a bank, you had the post office, you had everything.
yeah,
And it was that deep connection.
yeah,
And often you had generations living under the one roof.
yeah.
It's When I use the word isolation, you simply had a community that had everything it needed.
And I've known those communities too, and they do know everybody's business, and that's not
Yes,
always a bad thing, right? Kept you accountable, but everyone
absolutely.
rallied. If something happened, everybody rallied. And it was just
Well, you
like a
had that
phone
bush
call,
network.
bush network. Exactly.
Everybody did.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, the
Yeah.
world that my grandchildren are being born into, you've got to work bloody hard to keep yourself private.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's like the world has crept in to the world.
Yeah.
It's that people are actually becoming more isolated through less connection.
It's that the isolated through less connection, it is because there are some false norms or expectations put upon us as a generation, or this generation, or this current timeline, that are unrealistic. And because it's so, our lives are so exposed, if you expose yourself in that way, a lot of people will come in and jump on rather than thinking, oh, how can I support you or uplift you? They will pile on to make themselves feel better, which is a real shame. So let's remind everybody that what is that saying it's always been attributed to Buddha, but it says that a candle never loses its light when it lights another candle.
Mm.
And so that to me epitomizes an act, the act of kindness, is that you can light somebody else's life up without diminishing your own, and that way we light up the whole world. So
Absolutely. It's,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
It's a powerful word.
yeah, yeah. Or how
It's,
can I? Yeah, let me help you. A helping hand. It does not
well,
diminish
let
who
me
we
help
are.
you.
Yeah,
Should it be a question? Would you like some help?
yeah,
as opposed to let me help you.
Let me help you. Yeah.
Because it is going to come back to, and this is where in the world that we live in now, we need to take responsibility for what is
Yeah.
coming into our world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm asking myself, and I'm getting there slowly, to have some more time off all of my digital
Yeah.
equipment, all of my digital
Yeah.
tools.
Yeah.
It's it was easier back in the day because we didn't have all of these intrusions. The intrusions are only such because I say yes, come on in, and I need to keep reminding myself of that.
Mm. Mm.
Keryn, everything's got an off button. Do you know where it is? Do you know where it is? Oh, there it is. It's yeah. It is being responsible, but there's
Yeah.
something about that acknowledgement of connection that seems to create a shield around our heart to
Yeah.
help support and
Yeah.
nourish and nurture our
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah. It speaks to something deeper within us that, again, there's no word for it, but you can, if you sort of tune into it, you can see that feeling of that act of kindness flowing onto the person that you help, flowing back to you, flowing back out beyond the person that you helped, coming back, reverberates out. But it does, it also comes back. There's that, much like music, music reverberates out and then comes back and washes back over us
Always,
again. Yeah. And so
always
to
going to
keep
come back.
that momentum going, keep those acts of kindness flowing, keep that going. Don't let it die out. Continue. And, you'll look younger, you'll feel younger, you'll feel better.
Oh,
All the good
it
things. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
You'll feel like a
absolutely.
human being. You'll feel like part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Look, that the thing
yeah.
that I love about kindness is that it's not simply a nice idea. There's more to it. It's actually practical
Absolutely.
medicine
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because it connects us. It reflects our shared humanity, and honestly can transform us in ways that are unknown to us and
Unknown.
that
Yeah.
ripple out into
Yeah.
the rest of the world
Yeah.
across time and space. I'll get a bit woo woo here and go, hey, it goes out. Just because a beam of light we lose sight of seeing it doesn't mean that it stops shining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't know.
There have
So,
been. And like I know, if our listeners want to go and have a read or listen to that book, The Five Side Effects of Kindness, he's got so many examples of even little townships and villages and communities that have actually thrived
yes,
after things have happened and
yes,
improved people's lives on a very, very real and
yes.
very physical way. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
So
great read, and he's very
yeah,
easy to read.
it is. Yeah, it
So
is.
yes. So as can I see that you've got your
I
deck in
have. I
your
was going to
hands,
suggest
young
that
lady?
we pull a card, and
So
it
it's
will
time to
be
pull a card.
yes, and this card will be about a reflection about what kindness in for today. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, whether it doesn't, it's timeless, so it doesn't matter. Whenever you hear it, this is a reflection of kindness for this moment. So here we have the Knight of Swords. You can see we've got the twins on the horse. Knight of Swords means it's quick action, it's moving forward, it's very fluid. So kindness, the reflection of kindness in here is, I want to say, brings us together, is a reflection of who we are. And this, I think about this card, it's that the element of Mercury, which is quick action. So even though we may not see in that moment that act of kindness immediately, the action is immediate. You might not see it or understand it in that moment, but the action is immediate. So, and it's action because he's on the horse. Knights are all about action. So it's not this is not a passive reflection. This is like go out and do it. Practice acts of kindness. Be deliberate. It can be unconscious or conscious. There's nothing wrong with conscious acts of kindness. The intent behind it is that you are sharing something that's part of you and connecting to somebody else, soul to soul, heart to heart, mind to mind. There we go.
Thank you for that, young lady.
Any final thoughts for you, Keryn, at all?
No, I'm going to ask that those that are listening, when you step back into your day, to simply remember that kindness is a choice and it is a practice. It is a doing thing. And using my I am, intention plus action equals magic. And it really is that simple.
Yeah.
So it really is not rocket science. The intention fueled action will create magic.
Yep. Perfect.
So
Lovely.
thank you, young lady,
for
you kindly joining me today. And please, for those listeners that are with us, send us your comments, send us your questions.
Let us know.
And let us know what acts of kindness fill your heart with joy. I certainly would love to know. And Miss Vicki, I will catch you on the next episode.
Great. Thanks, Keryn. It's great chat. Great chat today. So thank you so much.
How can it not be if we're talking kindness? Thank you, my love. Catch you next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.